When I was 19, a horse named Gentle broke my arm in two places, and the man who owned him had told me not 1 hour before that Gentle was the safest animal on the whole place, and he believed it, and so did I. He was not the wild one. The wild one in the next pen. The one everybody warned you about. That one never hurt a soul, because nobody ever climbed on him without their whole mind awake. It was Gentle who put me in a sling for the summer, because Gentle looked safe, and I got on him the way you get on something you have already decided is safe, which is to say, half asleep. I have spent the 50 years since watching people get thrown by the exact same kind of horse, only these horses did not have 4 legs. They had the shape of a sure thing. And the old men taught me a way to look at any horse, any chance at all, before you climb on. And I need to be careful how I say it, because it is not be brave and get on every horse, and it is not be safe and stay off all of them. It is a third thing. Let me earn it, and I will give you the 3 kinds of chances I learned to tell apart. And the third one is the one that has hurt more good people than all the wild horses in the world. Let me back up and tell you what really happened that summer, because the broken arm was the smallest part of it, and that is the whole point of this talk. I was 19, and I was in a hurry to be a man, and there was a girl watching, and Gentle stood there in the sun with his head low and his eyes half closed, looking like a rocking chair. So I did not do any of the things you are supposed to do with a strange animal. I did not stand and watch him a while. I did not see how he was with the other men. I did not ask the one question that matters. I just climbed on because everything about him said you do not need to be careful with me. And about 4 seconds later, I was on the ground with a bone coming up against the inside of my sleeve, and Gentle was standing over me, quiet again, already looking like a rocking chair again, like nothing had happened at all. Here is the part that took me 30 years to understand. The arm healed by August. What did not heal so fast was the thing the fall taught me wrong, because for a long time after that, I took the wrong lesson. I decided the lesson was that everything is dangerous, so trust nothing, get on nothing, stay off every horse. And that is its own kind of broken arm, one you cannot see, and I limped around on it for most of my 30s, saying no to things I should have said yes to, because a quiet horse had thrown me once and I had decided the whole world was lying to me. So before I give you the 3 kinds, I need you to hear that both ditches are real. You can get hurt climbing on. You can also waste your whole life standing at the fence. Hold that, because the 3 kinds are how you get down off the fence without getting your arm broke. Here is the first kind of chance. The first kind is the wild horse that looks wild. This is the opportunity that is plainly a gamble and announces it. The business that might make you rich and might take the house. The move across the country to a place you have never seen. The love that everybody, including you, can see is going to be a beautiful disaster. These are the ones people lie awake about, and here is the strange thing the old men knew. This first kind hurts people the least. Not because it is safe, it is not, but because nobody climbs on it half asleep. When a horse is rearing and rolling its eyes, you get on it, if you get on it at all, with every nerve you own lit up, holding the reins right, ready to come off clean. The danger is written on its face, so you respect it, and respect is most of what keeps a man in the saddle. Very few good lives are wrecked by the risk that looked like a risk. We see those coming. I had a friend years ago who bet everything on a little business out on the edge of town, and every single person told him he was a fool, and he knew it was a wild horse. He never once pretended otherwise. And because he knew, he did everything right. He kept a little back for his family in case he came off. He did not borrow against the house. He got on that wild horse wide awake, holding the reins the way you hold them when you can feel the animal shifting under you. And, The business failed anyway, most of them do, but he came off clean because he had climbed on knowing he might. He dusted himself off, and he was fine, and he even laughed about it later. That is the wild horse. It looks like it will kill you, so it usually does not, because you never forget for 1 second that it might. The danger on its face is a gift. It keeps you awake. Let me stop a moment, because I can feel some of you already deciding I am about to tell you to play it safe, and I am not. I promise you I am not. Stay with me, because the whole point is coming, and it is the opposite of play it safe. Here is the second kind. The second kind is the gentle horse that really is gentle. And I want to spend a breath here because this is the one the frightened people forget. Most quiet horses are just quiet horses. Most safe-looking chances are exactly as safe as they look. The steady job really will feed your family. The ordinary kind man really will be a good husband. The small plain decision to plant a garden, to call the doctor, to say yes to the dinner, really is just a small good thing with no snake under it. If a fall in your youth has taught you to see a bronc in every calm animal, you will spend your last years turning down the whole gentle, ordinary, good half of life out of a fear that does not fit it. The old men were not afraid of the quiet horse. They just did one thing first, which I am coming to. But hear me, most of the gentle ones are gentle. Do not let one bad fall rob you of the pasture. I knew a widow who spent 11 years turning down every kind man who came to her door, because her first husband had been a wild horse who threw her hard, and she had decided in her grief that all of them were broncs in disguise, and they were not. They were just ordinary, decent men, gentle horses standing quietly in the sun, and she could not see it because a bad fall had taught her that calm was a trick. She got to the end of those 11 years alone, not because life had run out of gentle horses, but because fear had told her there were none. I do not want that for you. If you have been thrown once, and most of us at our age have been thrown at least once, the danger is not only that you climb on the next bad horse. The danger is also that you spend your last good years at the fence, watching perfectly gentle chances walk by, calling every one of them dangerous, so you never have to risk being wrong again. That is its own slow fall, and nobody even sees you take it. And now the third kind, which is the one I broke my arm on, and the one that has quietly ruined more good people than every wild horse that ever lived. The third kind is the gentle horse that is not gentle at all. It is the chance that looks like a sure thing, that everyone around you calls safe, that makes no noise and shows no teeth, and throws you precisely because you climbed on without looking, because everything about it gave you permission to keep your mind asleep. This is the comfortable job that slowly kills the one dream you had. This is the relationship that is not cruel, just wrong, just quietly wrong for 20 years. This is the easy road that everyone approves of, the one with no obvious danger, which is exactly why you never brought your full attention to it, and so it took your life a slow inch at a time, and you never felt the bone break because it broke so gradually. The wild horse takes your arm in an afternoon. The third horse takes your years, and it does it while everyone is congratulating you on how sensible you are being. That is why it is the worst of the three, not because it is the most dangerous animal, because it is the one you climb on with your eyes closed. I watched this happen to a man I thought was the luckiest fellow I knew. He married a woman nobody could say a word against, took a job nobody could fault, bought the house on the good street, and every part of his life looked like a gentle horse standing in the sun. And for 30 years he rode it, and the whole time something was going quietly wrong that had no name and made no noise, because nothing was dramatic enough to point at. There was no cruelty, no crisis, no wild eyes. There was just a man being slowly carried away from his own life by an animal so calm that neither he nor anyone watching ever thought to grab the reins. I saw him near the end, and he said a thing I have never forgotten. He said, "Nothing ever went wrong." That was the whole trouble. Nothing ever went wrong loudly enough for me to stop it. That is the third horse. It does not throw you into the dirt where you can see the blood. It carries you gently, year after pleasant year, to a place you never meant to go, and sets you down there old, and only then do you understand you were thrown the day you first climbed on without looking. So, there are your three. The wild one that looks wild, which we respect, and so it rarely wins. The gentle one that is gentle, which is most of them, and which fear tells us to run from wrongly. And the gentle one that is not gentle, the sure thing that is not sure, which throws the most people because it is the one we never think to look at hard. Now I have to keep my promise and give you the third thing, the way the old men taught me to look at a horse before I climb on, whether that horse has 4 legs, or the shape of a job, or a marriage, or a move. Because this is not about being brave, and it is not about being safe. It is about looking first. And there are 3 things they taught me to look at, and they take about a minute, and they would have saved me a summer in a sling and a decade on a fence. The first thing they taught me was to look at the animal's eyes, by which they meant understand what the thing actually wants. Every horse wants something, and every chance in your life wants something from you too, and it is not always what the man selling it says it wants. Before you climb on the opportunity, ask plainly, what does this actually feed? What does it want from me, my time, my fear, my pride, my whole remaining life? Gentle did not want to hurt me. Gentle wanted me off his back, and he had wanted every man off his back his whole life. And if I had looked at his eyes instead of his sleepy head for even 30 seconds, I would have seen an animal that was simply done being ridden. The chance in front of you has a want too. Look at it long enough to see it. The second thing was to watch how the horse is with other people before you ever touch it. This one is simple and almost nobody does it. You do not have to be the one who finds out the hard way. Watch how this job treated the person who had it before you. Watch how this man has been in his other marriages. Watch what this easy road did to the 10 people who took it ahead of you and are 5 years further down it than you are. The evidence is almost always standing right there in the next pen, if you will slow down and look at it instead of climbing on because you are in a hurry and there is a girl watching. Other people have already ridden your horse. Go see how they came off it. And the third thing, and this is the one that has kept me steady for 50 years, is to ask, if this throws me, what breaks and will it heal? Because that, in the end, is the whole art of it. Courage is not getting on every horse. Courage is knowing which fall you can get up from. A young man can take a hard throw and mend by August. There are chances worth taking precisely because even the worst case only costs you a bone that heals. And there are other chances where the fall costs you something that does not grow back, your family, your name, the years you cannot get returned, and those you look at 10 times as long, no matter how gentle they look. The old men were not asking, is it dangerous? Danger is the wrong question. They were asking, if I come off, what do I land on, and can I stand back up? Ask that, and half your hardest decisions answer themselves. I will tell you the one that nearly got me, the sure thing that was not sure. In my 40s, I was offered a steady position, a good and respected one, the kind of chance every sensible person told me to take, and it was gentle as a Sunday, and I very nearly climbed on it half asleep the way I climbed on gentle. And then, thank God, I remembered to look at its eyes, and I saw what it actually wanted, which was every hour I had for 20 years in exchange for a comfort I did not really need. And I watched how it had been with the men who held it before me, good men, hollowed out, sensible and hollowed out. And I asked what would break if it threw me, and the answer was the only 2 decades I had left with my children still young. So I did the thing that looked cowardly to everybody watching, and I stayed off that gentle horse, and it is the bravest thing I ever did, and no one clapped, because the chances you are right to refuse never look brave from the outside. So here is what I would ask of you, and it is small, and there is probably a horse standing in front of you this very week. There is a chance in your life right now that you are about to climb on or about to refuse. You know the one. Before you decide, do the old man's minute. Look at its eyes and ask what it actually wants from you. Watch how it has been with the people who rode it before you. And ask, honestly, if this throws me, what breaks and will it heal? That is all. Not be brave, not be safe. Look first, then be brave about the right horse. You do not have to climb on everything, and you do not have to stay at the fence. You just have to learn to tell a gentle from a gentle horse, and by our age, if we are honest about the falls we have taken, most of us finally can. Rest well tonight, and look before you climb on.